to have the Indian team. It's always a high-profile event, lots of television cameras, lots of media travel out with them, and one of the most popular teams in the game.
I remember the build-up before the series was massive. India arrived with this power batting lineup: Gambhir, Sehwag, Dravid, Tendulkar.
We played at SuperSport Park in 2010. In that first test match, I clearly remember us talking about not being complacent, not making the same mistakes as in the last series where we lost that first test match and gave them a lot of belief.
Playing India is always a big test match. It's a big series. And playing at SuperSport Park, another lovely venue to play at. The crowd support is fantastic. The large grass embankments really give a wonderful atmosphere. When you're on the field, you almost feel like the crowd are with you.
SuperSport Park is where I started playing my cricket. Made my first class debut there. That's where it all started for me. I remember watching my first cricket game at SuperSport Park. Fantastic place to play cricket, and a great place to start a series.
I remember I woke up the morning of the test match, as I normally do at 6 o'clock, because the butterflies and all those sort of things is keeping you awake, and it was raining quite badly in Pretoria. All this night of preparing yourself and getting yourself ready, and there's going to be no play. But that is the magic thing about SuperSport Park. The rain stopped, and 2 hours later we were on the field. Luckily won the toss, and we bowled first.
Tails it is. Well, Graham, you won the toss. What have you decided?
Yeah, I was a little bit undecided, to be honest, Rav. Wicket is obviously damp, and we feel that this afternoon we can get it exploited, so we're going to bowl first.
It's always a tough decision as a captain, really, when you're caught 50-50, sometimes you want to lose the toss. And, that morning, there was obviously a little bit of overhead, there'd been a bit of rain around, and, we decided to bowl first to exploit that, as we thought the wicket would get flatter and flatter as the days went on.
We were quite excited about it. There was a little bit of touch of green in the wicket. One of the things that stands out for day one was I was going up to bowl. We'd done all this planning about Sehwag and whatever, and as I was about to warm up to bowl the first ball, Graham came running up to me and he said, "I'm just going to drop a third man." And I was like, "A third man?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm for Sehwag, I'm just going to drop a third man." I was like, "Okay, cool." And I bowled. It was swinging delivery, outside off wide. Sehwag had a slash at it, caught Hashim Amla, third man boundary. What a way to start a test match.
Sehwag goes for it and it's taken at third man. A man specifically placed there, Hashim Amla. And it went straight down his throat. Stein can't believe it. And this is a big blow for the Indians. Virender Sehwag dismissed.
Warner had a fantastic game there, getting a fifer.
I remember I nicked Gautam Gambhir, I gloved him, got him out, caught behind, and it was not given out.
Umpire Steve Davis not moved.
I don't think at that time there was any referrals.
Yes, it's come off the glove. And no review system being used in this test series.
And something inside of me just sparked on that day, and went my way.
He's edged that one and it's gone. Harris has taken the catch. Big shout, huge shout, fingers gone up, gone. Got him.
Because Titans is my home, and I've learned my trade there. One of the things I wanted was to be on the honours board there, and I've worked so hard leading up to that test match. I've always tried to get onto the fifer board and to eventually break that barrier and get the fifer and get my name in the change room. That's quite special.
He's given him. And Morne Morkel gets his 5-wicket haul. It's been an outstanding performance and now has finished with 5 for 20 and India pulled out for 136.
Morne got a fifer, which is always good. I think Dale and Vernon in particular are always sort of leading the attack, and Morne sometimes doesn't get the kudos or the mentions, certainly at that time. He was more of a workhorse and still trying to get his game to the level of maybe the other guys, but to see him contribute in that way and get the 5-wicket haul was always exciting.
Obviously, bowling out so cheaply, we needed to go and do that with the bat as well. There was a lot said about the wicket with it moving around, and I knew our batters were more than capable to bat in those sort of conditions.
On the surface, I think it calmed down. We had to get through the new ball. But Centurion is just such a, one of those places that when you get in and you can find a bit of rhythm, it is a place you can score quickly. And the outfield is quick. And the ball comes onto the bat. It's in the high felt where the ball travels a little bit. And I think, bowling India out cheaply, you want it to be positive and start in a positive way, and I think we did that.
That brings up the 100 partnership. It's the second time that these two have got their team off to a century start.
Once Alvira and myself had got us off to a solid start, we knew that with the batting to follow that we were going to be able to capitalise on that.
Jacques Kallis, South African all-rounder, has walked out to the middle.
Well, there you go. Most runs without a double hundred, and Jacques Kallis, the top of the tree, 11,000 runs without a double hundred, which is most surprising.
Well, batting with Jacques is always wonderful because you're watching a master apply his trade from the other end. Something you admire. I mean, I certainly admire standing at the non-striker's end how this legend of the game conducts his batting, relentlessly wearing the bowlers down. Wonderful technique, beautiful to watch. So I was very fortunate to see that for quite a long time in our partnership.
Can he pick up two? Yes, I think he will. Touches down for one, trots back for the second. That is another magnificent performance for Jacques Kallis. He really is an outstanding cricketer, this man. That's his 38th Test century and also his fastest. Brilliant stuff. Oh, he's got that away. And he's got it away for four, and that's going to bring up the century. We have been treated to an exhibition from these two. Kallis Amla's now got his 12th Test century. What a year he's had.
Take the one.
That brings up the 200 run partnership.
He might have been looking for two if he'd been on 98. But that does bring up the 200 partnership, and a standing ovation from the dressing room.
We used to spend so much time as a batting unit talking about partnerships. Anything over 100, you start to really impact the game. And for those guys to go and put on 200, it really can kill a bowling unit. It gets you into such a solid position, settles the dressing room down, and then you're playing ahead of the game the whole time. So I think the great thing is that both of them had a huge appetite for runs, and that day in particular formed a really great connection up in the middle.
I remember starting off well, getting a 4 early on my innings, and I just felt like, I'm just gonna keep going with the flow.
Lovely shot. That will give him a lot of confidence.
In Test cricket, very often you have to pull yourself back a touch. Becomes a bowler who really settles into a good length to you. You've got to sort of adapt a bit. Where in that innings, I just felt like no matter who bowled to me, I kept feeling the middle of the bat. And the 100 came in a very short space of time, and it was a quick one, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a great vibe at the field, great atmosphere. My parents were there. It was just a special day.
Goes for the big one. It's out of the ground. It's 6 ball, and what a way to get 100. It's been a scintillating innings, and the fastest 100 by a South African player.
Jacques Kallis will enjoy his rest at lunchtime and ponder on the thought of maybe a milestone after lunch.
I remember him getting quite nervous in the change room when we had breaks in between. He was very nervous, and everyone was talking about it, but he was very focused.
I remember building up to that double century. Throughout a great career like that, it was the one thing that always got spoken about him. So I think even though you play it down, I think it still is constantly in the back of his head when is his opportunity. And then at the break when he was, I think he was on about 180 odd at one of the breaks, and I clearly remember seeing him in a little bit more nervous state than you normally see him. He's normally very calm and collected and in his own head, and you could just pick up that he was obviously carrying that emotion of wanting it. And when you want something really badly, it does add to the anxiety. I also remember Mark Boucher giving him a lecture because Johan Rupert had told him that if he gets a double 100, he gets a membership at Leopard Creek, and Mark wanted to go play golf there. So I remember Mark giving him a very stern lecture at the break about not messing this one up.
Jacques, I think he always joked about it and always said that he went to Weinberg and that they never taught you to count to 200, so he never got to 200. But I think he joked, and he used to joke about it all the time, but I think deep down he badly wanted it.
That's his career best as he goes to 190.
I think every single person in this ground is waiting with bated breath for that bigger number, that elusive one.
Once he reached the 180s, 190s, the entire stadium was batting with him because we knew how desperately he wanted that double century. He's worked over the years so hard for that and couldn't quite get over the line. And once he crossed 150, I must say, we knew that today was his day. I mean, Jacques is just a legend, and when he got into that nervous 190s, we were all at the edge of our seats.
I've always enjoyed playing with Jacques, batting with him. He was at the crease with my first Test 100 at SuperSport Park.
There you are, bit of magic.
There it is, a little wink to everybody. His home ground, his maiden century in his 5th Test match.
Funny enough, I gave him the same advice that he gave me when I scored my first Test 100. I told him 1 ball at a time, take it easy, very calm, all very basic stuff, but it was funny that I could give it back to him a bit.
1 hit away.
The crowd are restless, excited, on the edge of their seats. That's it. That'll go for 4. The monkey is off his back. 200 to South Africa's superstar.
To be on air with Robin Jackman in one of my first Test matches, I mean, it was quite an emotional moment because I had Robin, who'd been on air for a number of years, who, I wouldn't say burst into tears, but the tears were starting to roll down his cheeks, and now I had to find something to say to describe this moment, but I didn't have to in the end because the SuperSport Park crowd did everything that was required. They stood and they applauded and they just wouldn't sit down. It just went on and on and on.
The relief and the happiness from just the entire squad, and especially from Jacques, was just great. And no better ground than Centurion to get that double 100.
I think we all shared in that emotion with him when he got to his double 100. I think we all felt it as a team. We knew how important it was to him, important to us, and it was magnificent.
I think when he went to 200, it was pretty clear that he was kind of relieved. But for me, what created, if you like, the emotion in me and in my voice was the instant pleasure that you saw from everybody else. Sure, Jacques was pretty happy about it and didn't hide that fact, but there are certain bits of footage that if you look at it, you would actually think A.B. de Villiers, who was batting with him, had just got 200. And then when you look at that dressing room, it was an emotional moment because it was something that people had spoken about for so long that it must have been becoming just a little bit galling.
Yeah, so it's nice to get that one off the back. I think people made probably more of it than what I did, but it is nice to get there. It's something that I look back at and really proud of.
Okay, so it's something that hasn't been weighing on your mind at all?
I wouldn't say no. I think probably, like I said, probably the media and fans and that more. But it was obviously nice to get it. I think the first time that I really started thinking about it was at lunchtime. Probably the longest 40 minutes that I've ever felt. But the guys are superb. I felt the support in the change room while I was out there, and I was just really happy to get it.
You also got a membership at Leopard Creek for that, so there was added bonus to that double 100 for him.
I remember him playing his golf swing. I think he's when you go around to his house for a braai, he's got that golf swing framed and in his bar area. So it was definitely a meaningful time for him. And the golf swing was to Mark Boucher because he got the Leopard Creek membership for the double 100.